So welcome everybody here on Twitter Spaces. We are also recording this. We'll post it on YouTube where you get to see not just hear our voices, but actually see our faces as well. We're recording our video on the side for a YouTube copy of this little segment. So thanks for joining in, everybody. Once again, we've got Sarah and Valeria. Maybe you two could introduce yourself. I know we've known each other for quite some time, Sarah. I remember from way back. I think it was a DC conference when we had met in 2014.
I think so. Spring of 2014, I believe. Yeah.
Spring of 2014, and I remember we were also at the Amsterdam Bitcoin conference where you were there, and you kind of worked your way up the entire ecosystem of cryptocurrency from lawyer trying to figure out what company to work into, Coinbase, now with Perkins Coie. But I don't want to steal your thunder here. If you want to give yourself a quick introduction, I'd love to hear what you've been doing in this industry for the past 8 years now, 8-9 years.
Yeah, it's been quite the wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. As you mentioned, 2014 was when I really started focusing my legal practice. And at the time, it was showing up to events and meetups and conferences, and without fail, I would meet companies, and including Paul's, and a number of folks would say, well, you're interested in crypto, and you're, well, really at the time it was just Bitcoin. You're interested in Bitcoin, and you're a lawyer. Are you taking on clients? And I realized people want to pay me for what I'm doing in my free time right now. That sounds like a great gig. And kind of separately, I had always had somewhat of a goal as a lawyer to make it in-house. And so a couple months later, when I was offered a job at Coinbase, I thought, this is the dream. And it really was. Honestly, I had a lot of fun building out their money transmitter licensing program and doing a lot of the commercial agreements and bank relationships, supporting the compliance team. And it was a great company to work for. I was the second in-house lawyer, and
wow.
After a couple of years, I started feeling like, man, I'm kind of doing the same thing. It's great. It's a great company, and all of these are really hard things that the company needs to figure out how to keep implementing. But I felt like, as a lawyer, I was kind of doing the same types of analyses all the time. And so I did. As I started thinking about leaving, I realized I want to be on a wider variety of projects with more differentiated types of legal problems. There are so many interesting things happening in the space. And so I did what I never thought I would do, which is consider going back to a law firm, because I realized if I stayed in-house, that sort of hitting that point was likely to repeat itself. And so about 5 years ago, I made the switch to tentatively at first go back into private practice. And the main reason I came to Perkins Coie is because a number of folks here were also very passionate about building out, at the time mostly Bitcoin, but broader crypto ecosystems. And Dax Hansen, actually the partner who was responsible for hiring me, was also at Bitcoin 2014 in Amsterdam.
Oh, gosh.
And he was hosting one of the legal panels that was at the conference. And so it's partly how I knew, hey, this is a firm that really cares about this space and has been in it for the long haul. And a lot of my practice focuses on still a lot of the same money transmission issues. I work with a number of trust companies as well. And in terms of actual problem solving, I do both regulatory and commercial work. So if you need licenses, or you want to figure out how to structure your products so you don't need licenses, right, I can advise on that side. And then if it's a matter of building out commercial partnerships and negotiating agreements, or making sure your product UX provides all of the proper disclaimers and disclosures, I do a lot of that on more of the product and commercial side as well.
Awesome. And working in crypto for probably as long as I know of any lawyer working in crypto. So if anyone out there is in need of some assistance and has a project in crypto that almost all of them need at least a little bit of legal assistance, some a whole lot more, Sarah's your lady for that. If not, a good handful of people from Perkins Coie who we've actually used as well. So Perkins Coie's known you, a law firm to us here at Edge. We've used them since 2015 for a lot of our fundraising and agreements and whatnot. So awesome. Now off to you, Valeria. Come in as San Diego representative of Crypto Connect. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your background and kind of story into cryptocurrency.
It was very different as you could tell from the accent, I'm Argentinian. So I was introduced to Bitcoin in 2014 by someone from Argentina. And what was appealing to me was more like, we've been through so many inflationary cycles. So to think of something that could prevent us from that, it would be amazing. So I kind of like could hook on it from that perspective. I am a corporate attorney. At the time, I was working in Silicon Valley, but just on regular fundraising stuff. And then in 2015, I joined Perkins, and the same friend, which is actually Wences Casares, like, I think he brought us, many of us, to the space. He told me that Perkins was the place to practice law. So I started, at the time, there was not much going on, but I was lucky. I don't know if everybody was lucky, but I was lucky that in 2017 the ICO craze picked up, so that allowed me to work, full time in crypto.
Yeah.
So that was kind of insane, but I welcome it because it kind of like made it more mainstream. And so I started working in crypto full time until as an attorney, and as Sarah had her, doubts about going back full time to big law. I had my hesitations to stay in big law for the long run. But I love Perkins and I love the community. So last year I kind of like renegotiated my position with them, and I stayed in some sort of like relationship manager where I still help my clients but not on a billable rate. And basically, now what I can mainly do is dedicate myself to help the community from Perkins and from outside Perkins, and that gave me more time. I was thinking for a while, we're all thinking how to create something that we can help the community. And Haley Lennon, which is kind of like a force of nature, she made it happen. She made the thoughts into action, and she created Crypto Connect, which is a non-profit decentralized organization that has the goal of supporting educational and mentorship opportunities, at the same time networking, creating networking. And it kind of like came around as, there was a lot of reasons that triggered it, but also the pandemic, I think, was a major reason because, people was moving and people was not able to see each other. So a lot of people that was trying to see other people was moving from one city to another. So we were thinking of trying to do something that is inclusive, and that when you get to a new place you kind of like easily connect with other people.
It's a single brand to look for. Like when you move around, whatever city you're at, you can look for this one brand. Hey, is this brand of Crypto Connect having an event in my area? I can meet people in the area, especially if I'm new to the area, which admittedly, yeah, a lot of people are because they've moved around, hopped around. Sarah, I presume that you were new to Orange County, which you said you had just moved to. Although fortunately you got Valeria over there, not too far away.
Exactly.
Let's kind of dive into Crypto Connect. So you kind of started to allude to the original origins and the why. Who came up with the idea? Like, whose idea was Crypto Connect, and who were kind of the original founders? I know you mentioned Haley, but where was the general purpose behind it? Who were the original names behind it other than Haley?
Well, it was kind of like, I think that there were many of us that were kind of like thinking on doing similar things, and as I said, she made it happen. By design, she basically created one lead in each city, and we launched with 12 cities. And as you might have noticed, it's all women, but this is not it's a women-led organization. But I think what I like is mainly like most of us kind of like have the same take as to many crypto and non-crypto topics. And the idea was like to create an inclusive, you all join us type of organization, recognizing that it has been hard for women to kind of like do the transition. So we kind of like, and realizing there are many amazing women in the space. We wanted to start the organization by doing 12, led by women, all professional. And you have, I don't know, you have Lexi Pedromos, you have Diana, Taylor, who recently joined the Digital Chamber of Commerce, Michelle O'Connor from TaxNet. I'm gonna forget Wendy.
Oh, I know, big long list of names. Yeah, Wendy.
And then you have Aubrey Strobel in New York, Ari, you in Seattle. I mean, it's like, and
the list goes on.
Yes, we're 12 that we are leads of each different cities, and then we have, I think, like maybe 14 more that are part of the board of directors. And the idea is to keep on growing. This year we want to launch in 12 more cities and hopefully internationally, which we already have some people from outside the US, which, you know, in the crypto space, as you know, is becoming very relevant to have good contacts outside of the US.
Oh, it has always been very relevant. Crypto has made money international and global, so therefore its presence in the meetup scene and connecting people and educating people has always been a global necessity. So absolutely agree there. And so you're in so far 12 different cities, got 14 people on the board. What's the general structure of the organization? Like, how does it operate? Where do the resources come from? So it's a nonprofit. Are you looking for donations? Have many of the people that are on the board or their companies donated to the cause? What's the structure overall?
It is a nonprofit, and so far we kind of like having sponsors help us with the events that we organize. It was kind of like chicken and egg, like we were trying to get everything organized before launching, but we didn't want this to become a still mode forever. So we kind of launched, and we're kind of like, many of us are just paying for our events, some are getting sponsors. So there's not a formal structure right now of how we're like funding ourselves.
In some cases, we're partnering with companies in the space who are willing to help out, for example.
Yeah, like you know, like you've been great with us. You know, I have to give kudos to Edge, which like not only is lending us their space in San Diego, but you know, you've been helping promote, and also permission from San Diego is also going to be chiming in on our event. So yeah, it's
awesome.
Just launching, Paul.
Just launching. We're starting to figuring it out right now. But already I've seen a lot of buzz on Twitter from many people, not just the founders, but other people are excited about the cause. I know there's many meetups around the world, but I know that when I travel, that's also one of my inherent little challenges. Are, hey, how can I connect with the community wherever I happen to land? And you'll look up things on Meetup.com or on Eventbrite and see sometimes a few, sometimes a lot, but you never know what's the main heart of the community. It's nice to be able to ping a specific brand and a specific name and see whatever events are occurring in and around that event and name. So it's an awesome effort. I've been big onto the community. I mentioned this at all of our meetups, but the company of Edge actually was founded with founders and initial bootstrap investors that all came from the San Diego meetup community. And so for us, it's giving back to the community, and I think that's what I see in your efforts as well at Crypto Connect. But so on an individual level, like Sarah, like why did you feel like you wanted to join this effort? Like why did you want to be one of the representatives?
Well, so I will say I'm not an official representative. I'm just a fan person.
Even better. Yeah. You need supporters that are just support on the fan level.
Yeah. I'm more in the fangirl supporter category, but I think a lot of beyond just thinking very highly of Valeria and Haley and others who are part of the founding team, I think it, to your point, Paul, there really hasn't been a great rallying of branding around different meetups, and so I've for a long time in San Francisco, there were certain meetups that I knew, like, because I've been before, I know that it kind of always follows this format, but otherwise you don't really know what you're getting, especially if you're going to a new city. And so that was appealing on one level. And then beyond that, I think the platform of having it be a very inclusive space, but having it be a space that, at least initially, is really highlighting the professional women. Of course, I am one of them. And so I very much appreciate having that platform, having the opportunity to join and be a speaker and be a supporter, but also meeting others who are in the same boat. I think we straddle a number, especially as lawyers, I often feel like I straddle a number of industries that are historically very male dominated. It's tech, it's finance, and it's law. And so sitting right at that intersection, I am no stranger to, there's a frequent joke that I hear, but it's a joke because it's true, that the best part about crypto conferences is that the women's bathroom lines are always really short.
Yeah, I worked at a tech company in Silicon Valley, and we had 3 floors. 2 floors, I think, had men's bathrooms, and 1 had a women's bathroom. And there's times where guys are like, I gotta use the women's bathroom because it's always empty, and the men's bathroom is completely packed. So yeah, it's a little bit of a running joke, but you're right. It actually is a little bit true. hopefully that changes over time. And I think it is slowly changing.
I absolutely think it's I've been in this space long enough to see it change already, and I see this as a thing that will help. I see Crypto Connect as a platform that will help change that even further. And again, the point is not to be sort of exclusive or we're all just a bunch of women. It's to highlight the fact that there actually are a lot of professional women in the space across different industries, whether they're lawyers or whether they're in media or whether they're founders. And that's awesome. And so this is a great way to not only let them have a platform to share their stories and their expertise, but also to build a community for others who can then join in and be a part of that as well.
Got it. So with respect to that inclusivity, I noticed the board is primarily women. And so how are you looking for other board members that aren't women, or just really in the community events? Like what's the general, I won't call it like rule set, but guiding principle regarding the inclusivity motto for Crypto Connect?
Yeah, and I think, as we mentioned, it was by design, that it was all women-led, but the idea is to start bringing men. It was just to make a statement at the beginning, and part of what I was saying when I said that, many of us kind of like think alike, we all are aware of the difficulties that women have, but we also are all women that have great, amazing male mentors. We love men. We have nothing against. So that was good, because it was like, let's highlight the badass women that we have in the space. But I have, my best mentors have been men. So the idea is to start bringing, other men within the board, and as speakers. It's not a women organization. It was just that design at the beginning to make that statement that there are a lot of amazing women out there. But yeah, we're embracing them all. Yeah.
No question. And I think it is make it at least much more inviting for just the regular fangirls out there to say, hey, I can come to these events and not feel like I'm going to be the only girl at the event. And we are seeing many more women come out to the various meetups that we've been having, kind of since we relaunched the meetup scene post-lockdown in July. So very excited to have all of you here at the event. In respect to the event, so what can people expect as far as the format of an event? Say they land in a random city, they land in Austin, they look up Crypto Connect, and they see an event going on around the same time. Well, yeah, what do you think that they can expect out of it? Like, what's the format that you would usually see?
And I think, that there's a lot of autonomy. Like each chapter lead kind of like can decide how she formats, and we all not see it the same way. But I think we're still trying to find a balance between wanting to do some of the events more appealing to people that is established in the space, so they can continue growing and network with the type of people that they want to connect with, but also we want to be educational and a bridge for people that is intrigued or is interested in crypto. But everybody, even I have this discussion with Sarah many times, but I'm like, I don't know anything about crypto, and we've been in the space for many years. And I feel that that's a sentiment that is also shared, obviously, by people that truly don't know anything. And I think the community is amazing. It's super friendly, and it's not rocket science. Obviously, you're not going to know everything about crypto, because the more you get into it, the more
it grows.
Yes, but the idea is, so for example, the event that we're doing tomorrow in San Diego is kind of launching the community there, so people get to know about Crypto Connect. But I think as we go forward, there are going to be different types of events. Some of them are going to be mostly networking, some of them are going to be educational, but definitely we want it to be a resource, even for people that are not trying to work in the space. So we have the website, people can send their information and become part of the organization, and also mention which chapter they are interested in joining. So it's an evolving process that we're kind of like trying to listen to what the community needs.
Got it. So one thing I've noticed in our events, we've, at least since we relaunched the meetup scene here in San Diego, is that we've had very presentation style formats with a guest speaker that talks on some kind of topic in the industry, whether it be NFTs, when we had legal officer from Super Rare that came by, to just the journey of individuals that have been in the space for a while, such as when Haley Lennon came out. But one thing that has been maybe slightly missing within our, at least the meetup events that we've hosted here are more on the educational side, like for the 101s, the people that are really new to crypto. I think they get to meet other people that become mentors, but the content has been a little bit light. And admittedly, that there's some work involved in doing that, actually creating even like just a mini curriculum. Has that at all been on the roadmap for Crypto Connect, and one that admittedly, once you build out for one city, can be much more replicated across several? Has that been a topic of discussion at all?
It has, and there are some of the members that are going to, developing that type of format, but it definitely is something that we are discussing. And I know it's like, as I mentioned before, we could have like have everything set and then launch, but we were kind of like, let's launch and then, so if we don't have a formal, educational kit right now, but depending on, what each of us does, we are thinking of doing something like, simple, so people can have like an introductory course to crypto, and that is in the works.
Okay, good to hear.
In fact, like tomorrow, the event that was doing in Santiago, the idea is to talk about the organization, but Sarah is coming as a guest because she can educate us all along on many topics. But she's been working a lot on NFTs and other hot topics. So the idea is that, to put even tomorrow, that is the launch, to be able to share some of the things that are going on right now in the space.
Got it. Cool. I'm going to pause there really quick just to let the host know, that's Joelle on our team here at Edge, who's running the Twitter Spaces, that if anybody does have questions, feel free to go ahead and holler. I think you can kind of like raise your hand, and we'll feel free to just chime in. We'll make this a bit more interactive while we're chatting. Feel free to interrupt us, and we'll happily take any questions. So with respect to the event tomorrow, I've heard NFTs being chatted about. What do you think is the general topic of discussion that people can expect to hear tomorrow? And that way, if there's people out there listening and they happen to be either near San Diego, or we're already planning on swinging through, or we're going to make the last minute flight over. We had somebody come all the way from, I think, Chicago, last minute stay just one night to come to our meetup, I think a couple months ago. So if they're coming, what do you think they're going to hear about as far as the discussion topics from the three of you?
Yeah, I think the plan is to do what Haley and Valeria and I are all lawyers by training. And so the plan is to, on that education piece, do a little bit of do some education on sort of the legal landscape right now. We've mentioned NFTs in part because that is where we're seeing a lot of legal questions right now. But there are questions around, what is the climate with the SEC? What new enforcement actions are out there? What new guidance pieces are we seeing? And so I think, in terms of what can we expect tomorrow, we'll do a bit of a sort of legal landscape 101, and then talk a little bit about how that's playing out in the crypto industry today. And it'll be somewhat conversational, kind of fireside chat style among the three of us. With the goal, again, to be both educational about the legal landscape as well as, the legal landscape broadly, as well as to do a double click a little bit on some of the hottest topics right now.
Got it. So NFT being one of the hottest topics, and I can totally imagine that given that it's new, it's a new use case for crypto. It's actually not new, but the fact that it's hot and has had $1 billion of transaction volume, that's the part that's new that always perks up some eyes, whether it be from the artists, the collectors, or the lawyers and the regulators. What other topics do you think are kind of hot in the industry with respect to what's crossing your plate as lawyers? I'm not trying to steal the thunder. Maybe just give me the nugget of the hot topics, which will go into more depth hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the hot topics are also on the sort of enforcement and guidance spectrum. With the new administration, we've seen a lot of turnover in staff, as well as sort of just different, not necessarily different, but different dialogues happening certainly at the federal regulatory level, particularly as it relates to the SEC, but it's not just the SEC. And so I think we'll touch a little bit on sort of what maybe the way to summarize it is, what are we seeing from Washington?
Right.
And then on the state by state level, so a lot of the work I do is with money transmission, exchange, and custody. And so at a state level, we're seeing different trends emerge for things like custody, and we're seeing a move to there being more trust companies as opposed to money transmission licenses, and thinking about partnering with existing trust companies and versus money transmission licensees, so that you don't have to go and necessarily do all that yourself, and what does that look like from a product trade-off perspective. And so I think we'll touch on a little bit of all of those topics in addition to NFTs. So I think exchange, wallet, custody, and then just generally what are we hearing and seeing from Washington?
Got it. Okay, so for those of you listening, that's what you can expect out of the meetup tomorrow. And just as a heads up, unrelated to Crypto Connect, we also have a second speaker with Isaiah Jackson coming on for tomorrow. He was supposed to come in October, had a few issues unfortunately, but he's back here to close out the year, and he'll be talking about his experience and writing and deploying and traveling to promote his book, Bitcoin and Black America. I think he's got a second edition coming out. Either it's out already or coming up soon. I couldn't find it on Amazon, so maybe it's still in printing process. We're still finishing it up. But okay, so Crypto Connect, what do you think are the general plans for the future of Crypto Connect? Like, where do you guys want to take this program? If you had to kind of snap a finger and look, say, two years into the future, where would you love this organization to be?
Well, we definitely would love for it to be more formally structured. The idea is to continue adding cities and leads, so which means growing the community in those places. We want to do a yearly conference where we all go to one place all together, and just I personally would like to see more of what we were talking, like a more formal kind of like educational program within Crypto Connect, and also something that for me would be great to do is more like helping people get involved professionally. We Sarah, me, Katie, we all been working in the space for a long, so we hear a lot about opportunities and that type of thing. So do that kind of like matching of people that we know that is looking for certain positions or transitions with positions that we know that are open. That I think is something that we could greatly help.
That's a really good point. I remember I went to a Startup San Diego event about 5 years ago, and they did one great thing at one of the after parties, which I've been saying I need to do at a meetup or at one of the after parties in crypto, which was they gave people name tags. So you put your name, but they had little stickers that you could attach to your name tag, and the stickers would say what you are and what you're looking for. So you could say, I am a graphic designer. I'm looking for a job. I'm a founder, and I'm looking for a graphic designer. I'm a founder.
Yeah.
I'm looking for an investor. I'm an investor. That kind of thing, which really breaks the ice when you're just kind of walking around and mixing and mingling. And so maybe we'll actually try and do that tomorrow if people are open to it. Because I think
sounds great.
connecting between each other is just as valuable as being able to kind of hear the topics at hand and what people are discussing on stage. So
no, that's perfect, and also that's amazing, and it's amazing when people say, well, but there are a lot of people that they're embarrassed of saying I'm looking, or they have a great job and they don't like it, and they don't want to be so open about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always
that
optional.
matchmaking behind the scenes is also something that I think can help. But that idea is an amazing idea. It would be nice to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as I'm new and I'm looking for information. Something
Yeah,
like that.
totally.
You could be working, happy at your job, you're just literally trying to look for information about cryptocurrency, like how do I buy it, or I'm looking to learn about NFTs. And it could be a write in blank. So I thought it was really cute what they had done at that one event, and it was one of the easiest. I'm not what I would call like an extrovert. I can just walk up to random strangers and just start chatting away for half an hour. Not my personality. So that event was one of the easiest for me to do because there always was that little ice-breaking thing where it's like, oh, that's what you're looking for. Like, what kind of person within that field are you looking for? So yeah, that was a nice. We'll try. We'll see if we can get kind of the paperwork together last minute and in time for that. So once again, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to chime in. But otherwise, we'll close out with kind of last minute thoughts. Your little last minute pitch and say, hey, yeah, come on by. Here's what we're going to be doing and what to expect out of the scene in the future. And also, one thing, what are you looking for as Crypto Connect? Are there specific cities where you're looking for a representative to hold down the fort, or other things that you're looking for the community to contribute into Crypto Connect?
I'll say I have my personal selfish reasons, which is like I live very close to San Diego and I haven't been involved, so I'm super excited to go and meet the people in San Diego. I know like anybody that is interested in leading one of the chapters from wherever they are, it would be amazing if they reach out, or if they have ideas or way to contribute. That would be awesome because we are growing and we're looking for that type of people that can become part of the organization. Also, I wish we can get more of like hear the community as to, for example, what are the specific needs in San Diego, because they do vary depending on where you are, and kind of like be able to judge what will be the best setup for San Diego, for example.
Got it.
And yeah, just
which are the cities that you said are in need of people to host the chapters?
I don't know the ones that are in need. I know the ones that we are, which is Austin, Chicago, Dallas, DC, Denver, LA, Miami, Nashville, New York, San Diego, San Francisco, and Seattle.
Okay, so the major cities are pretty well covered. Did I hear Chicago in there?
You did hear Chicago. But also, it's like, even if there's someone like, I'm San Diego, if there's somebody else in San Diego that wants to participate, and, the more the merrier. And I think that that's the sentiment of all the leads in all the cities. So anybody that is interested in the organization, just, raise your hand, and we'll definitely find a way to find a place for you within the organization.
Yeah, no, I've heard. I think my head had a few cities that I feel like I didn't hear on that list that do have some strong representation. I think like Tampa Bay has a pretty strong scene in crypto. Probably could use a representative out there. Maybe some places in Arizona. Was Phoenix a part of the list?
Phoenix is not. I know that one is one that we've been talking about, but Phoenix, we don't have anybody there. We have in Miami, we have Jalak from Future Ventures, which has been in the space forever. But like
Atlanta. Is Atlanta on the list?
Atlanta is in the list. Now that, as you say, it's coming up because I don't have the music from me, but those are the names. But no, that's especially with the whole fintech, growth right now. Atlanta will be amazing. So yeah, anybody in Atlanta, please let us know. So yeah, definitely. And any ideas even from you, Paul, please let us know, because you are an OG. So we would
sure. As I think of some names, I'll definitely make some introductions for some potential leads in various cities, because they do have a few that if they're not already on the list, I think would make really good leads. So, and we invite anyone else here that's listening or joining in the meetup tomorrow, if there's good contacts, or if you want to be one and you happen to be a part of one of those cities, then definitely let the ladies know that Sarah, Valeria, and of course Haley will be joining us tomorrow for, I guess, second time. She's gonna kick off our meetup scene. She was our first speaker when we first kicked up the meetup after kind of lockdowns opened up, and then we'll be here again closing out the year. So thanks for coming out a couple times. So questions. I think it's a pretty good wrap. Really looking forward to having you ladies come on out, and definitely our doors are open. Feel free to come by, since you're just a hop skip away in Orange County. Or at any point in time, if you want to host any event, let us know. For anyone else out there that is listening, hope to see you here at the Edge offices for kind of our last December meetup of the year. So thanks everybody, and thanks again, Sarah and Valeria.
Thank you, Paul. Looking forward to you tomorrow.
Yeah, and once again, we are recording this. We'll have it out on YouTube with a full video, so you can see our word reactions and facial expressions and backgrounds as we're kind of hanging out in Homer in the office.
It's early, okay?
It is early too. I know I'm not much of a morning person. But are those East Coast people? They get up early, and time makes it where it's super early for us. So we want to make sure to accommodate for everyone here. And Crypto Connect is it going international? That's probably my last little question. I know a lot of cities were mentioned were here. Yeah. Do we have anyone from Buenos Aires yet, Valeria, being Argentina native?
But we're working on it. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many people there that could easily lead the effort. It's such an amazing epicenter. I just came back from the BitCon, Latin American Bitcoin Conference.
Oh, you went? I was going to go, and it was bad time.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot going on. We're back in the season of overlapping events. But definitely one for people to check out. It's organizers are anchored over there in Buenos Aires. They really know how to throw a great event. Good, positive energy. I look forward to it every year. But anyway, we'll close it out with that. Thanks everyone for listening. And for those of you in the area, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow at the meetup.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Paul.
Cool. All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Valeria.